You're listening to Board Games Before Bed. Think of this as a gentle rulebook read through, slow, steady, and just detailed enough to follow, calm enough to fall asleep to, clear enough to play tomorrow. If you're feeling up to it, feel free to leave a comment with which board game you'd like to fall asleep to next. Settle in, close your eyes if you'd like, and we'll walk through tonight's game together. Seti is a game that moves at the speed of careful thought, not urgency. Nothing in the system asks you to react quickly. Nothing punishes you for pausing. Every decision is deliberate because you're only allowed one main action at a time. That single action structure shapes how the entire game feels in your hands and in your mind. You're not stacking choices on top of each other. You're not juggling priorities all at once. Instead, each turn becomes a quiet moment of focus. You look at the board. You notice where all the probes rests, where the data has gathered, and where the opportunities are slowly closing. Then you choose one direction to lean into. You're never overwhelmed by choices all at once. You select a single focus, a launch, a scan, a landing, or a moment of analysis. That one choice gently ripples outward. The board responds without noise, without interruption. The solar system itself reinforces this pacing. The rotating disks do not spin constantly. They only turn at specific moments, when technology is researched or when other players pass. When they do rotate, it's meaningful, like time advancing rather than chaos unfolding. Markers appear in sectors, then are cleared away, leaving just enough trace to remember what came before. You can often recall who was there recently without needing to reconstruct the entire history of the board. That memory gives the game texture, not pressure. Seti feels analytical, procedural, and restrained in some ways. There's competition, but it's subtle. You rarely take something away from another player directly. You don't undo their work. You do not erase their progress. Instead, you arrive earlier or later or with slightly more precision. You score slightly more. You reach a threshold just before someone else does. The tension comes from timing rather than conflict, from noticing that a sector is nearly full, from realizing that one more data token might trigger a discovery, from deciding whether to act now or let the system turn once more. The game rewards timing, planning, calm attention, and invites you to think a few turns ahead without demanding constant calculation. You're encouraged to notice the patterns, how data accumulates, how publicity rises and falls, how the board changes shape over time. Most importantly, Seti allows you to disengage gently. If you're tired, The game does not punish you. If you miss a perfect opportunity, the system continues. Progress is steady, not brittle. You aren't racing the game, you're moving alongside it. In Seti, each player controls a space exploration agency. These agencies share the same universe, the same planets, the same nearby stars. What separates them is not territory, but approach. Your shared goal is to search for the evidence of extraterrestrial life. And of course, your personal goal is to score the most victory points. The game holds these two ideas in balance. You're always contributing to humanity's understanding of the cosmos, even as you pursue your own success. Victory points come from many sources. No single path dominates the game. Instead, points are distributed across exploration, analysis, discovery, preparation. You earn points by orbiting planets, a sign of long-term observation. You earn points by landing probes, committing resources to a direct exploration. Earn points by scanning stars, listening carefully for signals. You earn points by analyzing data, transforming raw information into insight. Research also matters. Developing technologies improves your agency's capabilities, and those improvements are rewarded. Completing missions grants focused objectives and points for following a clear path. Alien life is represented by 3 types of life traces. Each type reflects a different method of discovery. Some are revealed through scanning distant signals, some through landing on celestial bodies, some through deep analysis of collected data. No single approach reveals everything. Scanning alone is not enough. Landing alone, not enough. And analysis alone is not enough either. Part of Seti's tension comes from choosing which of these paths to prioritize. You may lean heavy into one or try to balance across several. When enough life traces are marked for a species, that species is discovered. This is a shared event. The board changes state, and a face-down species is revealed, and new rules enter the game. The game is played over 5 rounds in the base game. Each round represents a phase of exploration. If you're using organizations, round 1 is skipped, and the game consists of rounds 2 through 5 only. That skip accelerates early development without changing the core rhythm. You still move one action at a time. You still wait for the system to respond. And at the end of the final round, all players score their remaining points. There is no sudden final action, no last move surprise. The player with the highest total score wins with no tiebreaker applied. SETI accepts ties as a natural outcome. Some discoveries are shared, some achievements are equal. The universe does not always choose a single winner. SETI uses a large shared mainboard assembled from 3 connected sections. These sections form a single visual field, wide, deliberate, and uncluttered. The solar system board sits at the heart of the table. It contains rotating discs cut with smooth channels and openings. These discs define movement, alignment, and timing throughout the game. Beside it rests the planetary board. Here, planets and moons are arranged clearly with space for orbiters, landers, and discovery progress. Nothing overlaps unnecessarily. Each space has its purpose. The technology board completes the shared layout. It tracks technological development, solar system rotation, and long-term improvements. Its structure reinforces planning over reacting. Around the solar system, sector boards represent nearby space. Each sector corresponds to a nearby star. Each one includes slot for data tokens, visible and tactile. The sector board gives the table depth. They expand outward, suggesting distance without adding clutter. And each player has a personal board. The board holds their computer row, their technology, their ongoing data management. It becomes a private workspace, calm, contained. Players also have probes, solid, distinct. Markers track score and publicity, moving slowly along the tracks. A starting income card anchors each player's economy. Cards form a shared deck with a face-up card row available to all players. These cards are all uniform in size and weight, easy to shuffle, easy to handle. Technology tiles are grouped by type. They're stacked face down, each topped with a 2-point tile. This creates a sense of potential rather than certainty. Alien species boards begin the game face down. Their components remain tucked away, hidden, waiting. Discovery reveals them gradually, never all at once. Resources include credits, energy, data tokens, and various markers used for scoring and milestones. Each resource is distinct by shape and color, reducing confusion even if you're tired. Nothing in SETI feels oversized or unnecessary. Let's begin by assembling the main board in the center of the table. Take a moment to clear the space first in your mind. Place the planetary board down gently, letting it settle flat against the table. You can feel it when it rests evenly, corners flush, no lift. Now align the solar system board beside it. The connection should feel natural, edges meeting without forcing like a puzzle. Then place the technology board to complete the surface. Together, all three boards form a continuous landscape. Now turn your attention to the solar system disks. There are three of them, each a slightly different size. Their surfaces smooth. Lay the largest disk first, easing it into its recess. Rotate it gently, just enough to feel that it moves freely. Then place the next disk on top, aligning its cutouts. Finally, adding the smallest, completing the stack. When they're all seated correctly, the disks rotate without friction. Arrange the 4 sector boards around the disks. Place them evenly, leaving no gaps. As you rotate the disks slightly, notice how the openings align to create 8 distinct sectors. Each sector should clearly point towards one nearby star. Place one nearby star into each sector space. Each star includes a slot for data tokens. Take the data tokens and slide them into these slots, left to right, until each slot is full. Keep the remaining data tokens nearby in a loose pile. They should be easy to reach for everyone. Shuffle the main deck. These cards are thick enough to feel substantial, but not stiff. Deal 3 cards face up into the card row. Prepare the alien species. Shuffle the 5 species boards face down. Do this carefully, no peeking. Select 2 at random and place them face down into their designated slots on the planetary board. The remaining species return to the box. All alien cards, samples, and token remain set aside. They're not a part of the table yet, but their absence does create anticipation. Move to the technology board. For each of the 12 technologies, gather the 4 matching tiles. Shuffle each group gently, placing them face down in a tidy stack. Then placing a 2-point tile centered on top of each stack. Now prepare the end of round cards. Create 1 stack per round. Each stack should contain 1 more card than the number of players, squaring the edges neatly. Place 1 solar system rotation token on the mark space of the technology board. Place the second rotation token on the first end of round stack. This physical placement acts as a reminder, quiet and persistent, to rotate the solar system. Now take the gold scoring tiles. These end of game scoring tiles have two sides. Choose a side at random without analysis and place the chosen side face up. Lay the tiles beside the board where everyone can see them. And if you're playing with fewer than 4 players, place neutral milestone markers on the scoring track at the appropriate spaces. These markers occupy space, not attention. They simply exist to help discover the alien species faster. Each player now chooses a color. Take all the components in that color. This includes probes, scoring markers, publicity marker, and discs. Lay your personal player board in front of you. Place it so that the computer rows are closest to your center of vision. Set your score counter on the scoring track according to player position. The starting player begins at one point and the others follow in order, increasing by 1 each. Each player takes their starting income card, turn it face up, gain the resources shown on the back, gain 4 publicity, 4 credits, 3 energy, and place them in your player area. Now draw 5 cards from the main deck. Now choose one of those 5 cards and tuck beneath your income card. Immediately gain the resource shown on that card. This income will repeat between the rounds. Arrange your personal area, your player board. It should sit close to you. Above it, perhaps your data pool forms as needed. Maybe your income stacks rest slightly to the right side, and your energy, your credits, and everything is all within easy reach. Nothing is stacked too high. Nothing should feel hidden. If you're playing with organizations, you should choose them now. Resolve those quick start cards simultaneously and then skip one round entirely. Once setup is complete, just pause for a moment. Look at the table. It should feel balanced. It should feel ready. Should feel quiet. Everything has its place, is in its place. Nothing demands immediate attention. Can sit down now and begin your turn. The structure of a turn in Seti is simple. That simplicity is intentional. It creates a steady rhythm that repeats quietly throughout the game. On your turn, you can take exactly one main action. That is the only required decision. Everything else is optional and free. Because you're only taking one main action, you're never rushing to combine effects. You're not sequencing multiple major choices. You're just choosing one thing to do and allowing the rest of the game to respond. Before, during, or after that main action, you can take any number of free actions. Free actions are smaller, supportive, resource-based. They help you adjust, prepare, or complete a plan. Free actions never replace the main action. They exist alongside it, quietly filling gaps. They are only taken if you want them. Once your main action is complete and you have finished any actions you wish to take, your turn ends. There's no cleanup phase. There's no forced discard until you pass. After your turn ends, you could check for milestones. Milestones are triggered when your score reaches or passes a marked space. If you cross one, resolve it immediately. This keeps scoring tied closely to progress. Then check for an alien species discovery. If your action filled the final required life trace, discovery is resolved now. Discovery resolution is shared as everyone pauses briefly. Rewards are distributed calmly, then the game continues. Play then passes clockwise to the next player, skipping any players who have already passed for that round. Players continue taking turns in this way until they choose to pass. This loop repeats for the entire game. One action, a few free actions, then quiet evaluation. The rhythm never changes. Every main action in Seti is complete on its own. None require another action to function. Each one converts resources into position, into progress, or into points. We'll move through them slowly. Launching a probe. To launch a probe, you pay 2 credits. Credits are returned to the supply immediately. Take one of your probes from your supply and place it on Earth. Earth is shockingly the universal starting point for all probes. The probe does not move further on this action. It simply exists on Earth, waiting. Launching a probe does not score points. It does not advance discovery. It simply creates potential. Once launched, the probe can move using energy on this turn or a later turn. This is a free action. It can also orbit or land. It could even be repositioned as the system rotates. Launching expands your future options rather than resolving an immediate goal, though sometimes it can complete triggerable missions on cards in your hand. Orbiting a planet. So, to orbit a planet, your probe must already be positioned on that planet's space. To resolve the action, you must pay the cost shown for orbiting that planet. This cost is typically credits and energy. You move the probe into the orbit space around the planet. The space is shared, visible to all. However, if you're the first person to orbit, you gain extra bonuses. You may immediately gain the planet's other bonuses as well. This may include points, publicity, or other benefits. You also score victory points for orbiting. Orbiting does not remove the probe from the board. It remains in orbit, persistent, visible to all. When you land on a planet or a moon, you place your probe directly onto that surface. To land, your probe must be in the correct location. You must pay the energy cost shown or have the technology researched to land on the moon. Place the probe on the landing space. If this is the first landing on that body, you gain the first landing bonus. Landing usually grants victory points. It also advances life trace tracks depending on the location. Once landed, the probe is removed from your active supply. It will not move again. Scanning nearby stars listens for signals from those stars. To scan, you have to pay 1 credit and 2 energy. First, place a marker in Earth's sector. Then discard 1 card from the card row and mark 1 signal in the matching sector. You gain the data tokens from the resolved sectors. If you've upgraded your telescope technology, you may activate those in any order. For example, you could pay 1 publicity to scan where Mercury is. You may also discard a card from your hand, scanning in the sector in the upper right-hand corner. Additionally, the last upgrade would allow you to pay 1 credit to launch a probe or move a probe on your board for free. Analyzing data converts stored information into life traces. To analyze, you spend 1 energy. From your row on your computer that's completely filled with data, you'd remove that now and mark the corresponding life trace. That trace usually contributes to alien discovery. Playing a card. Playing a card resolves the text on that card. Each card is specific, self-contained. To play a card, pay its cost. Resolve the effect fully, then discard the card, unless it's a triggerable mission or an end of game scoring card. Additionally, the very bottom of the cards in Seti are fun and true scientific facts. For extra flair, each time a person plays a card, maybe have them read what's on the bottom, adding an additional layer of fun and knowledge. Who knows? Maybe that could help you in trivia one day. Another main action is researching a technology. To research technology, you spend 6 publicity. Choose a technology stack. Rotate the solar system disks once, then take the top tile from that stack. Place the technology on your board, immediately gaining its effect. Technology remains with you for the rest of the game. Technology is chosen when long-term efficiency matters, when you expect to repeat certain actions. It is an investment. Technology improves future turns, sometimes reducing costs, adding bonuses, or increasing your flexibility. It reshapes your strategy quietly. Passing ends your participation in the current round. When you pass, discard down to 4 cards, then rotate the solar system disc once, then take 1 end of round card. Interaction in Seti is constant, but understated. Players interact through timing and shared spaces and limited rewards, not through direct conflict. Sectors resolve based on marker count. If multiple players are present, rewards are split by placement order. Ties favor the most recent placement. Orbit bonuses reward early arrival. Solar system rotation affects all probes equally, as no one controls it completely. Alien discovery spaces are limited, but overflow ensures progress is never wasted. Interaction feels indirect, but persistent. The game ends after 5 rounds, once all players have passed. First player score points for any end of game scoring cards they played. These are the ones with the gold boxes. Next, players score points for gold scoring tiles. After, some alien species may add more scoring steps. The player with the most points wins. If players have the same score, they certainly earn that tie. Seti is a game of patience and observation. It asks you to notice and not rush. Each choice you make matters, but none demand urgency. The system continues whether you're in a hurry or not. It rewards players who enjoy planning, quiet optimization, and shared discovery. But for now, the probes can rest, the data can settle, the stars can grow quiet again. Thank you for listening to Board Games Before Bed. Sleep well, and until next time, keep listening.